Welcome to Death Diaries. Please subscribe to my channel to support these videos. Exploring the enigma of Jimi Hendrix's untimely demise. Jimi Hendrix was a boundless meteor of astonishing brilliance. While his audiences remained perpetually captivated by his talents, it was Hendrix himself who experienced an early burnout in his career. As his brief journey in the music industry neared its conclusion, this innovative guitarist had already elevated to blues to an entirely new and thrilling realm. Possessing both skill and showmanship, along with forward-thinking progressiveness, Hendrix displayed the heart and intellect to rival the lyrical prowess of Jim Morrison. Hendrix stood poised to ascend to a position of immense cultural importance as a voice for his generation, undeniably a cultural hero in the realm of guitar virtuosity. On the September the 18th, 1970, at 12:45 p.m., Hendrix was declared deceased. Authorities discovered him asphyxiated at 22 Lansdowne Crescent in Notting Hill. The question lingered, why did so many of the era's greatest musicians not only perish at a young age, but at the age far too premature? This phenomenon led to the establishment of a club that enshrined and romanticized the demises of these icons of culture and music, the 27 Club, to which the young guitar player was posthumously inducted. Hendrix's musical odyssey truly commenced when he crossed paths with Chas Chandler, the former bassist of the Animals in Greenwich Village, New York City. Prior to this fateful encounter, Hendrix had honed his craft touring and performing alongside luminaries such as the Ailsie Brothers and Little Richard. The introduction was orchestrated by Linda Keith, the then girlfriend of Keith Richards, and a fashion model who persuaded Chandler to witness Hendrix's performance at the Wah Club on the night of the 5th of July 1966. The rest, as they say, is history. Chandler brought Hendrix to England, where the Jimi Hendrix experience took root. The experience embarked on an extensive and relentless touring schedule. Hendrix, known for his electrifying guitar style and stage theatrics, including setting his guitar ablaze, pioneered the art of manipulating guitar tones through an array of pedals like wah-wah, octavia, and fuzz distortion. In his final interview conducted just a week before his demise on the September the 11th, 1970, by Keith Alpham, of the Record Mirror, Hendrix was asked, "Do you feel compelled to establish yourself as the reigning guitar king?" Hendrix responded, "I don't even let that bother me, because they say a lot of things about me. If they let it bother them, they wouldn't even be around today. King guitar now? Wow, that's quite a weighty notion." Hendrix also disavowed any acclaim suggesting that he had pioneered psychedelic rock music, remarking, "I don't even consider my music the invention of psychedelic. Is simply posing a lot of questions." The maestro of psychedelic blues possessed an astonishing knack for conjuring diverse and variegated sounds using only his guitar. While Hendrix may not have been the first to experiment with feedback and distortion, he was undoubtedly one of the earliest to do so with such consummate mastery that it seemed he was attuned to an entirely different spectrum of energy. What led to the passing of Jimi Hendrix? The iconic guitarist met his demise due to asphyxiation, brought on by vomiting, a result of ingesting barbiturates combined with wine. On the afternoon of September the 18th, 1970, Monica Dannersman, Hendrix's girlfriend at the time, who had shared the night with him, discovered Hendrix unresponsive in her quarters at the Samarkand Hotel. At 11:18 a.m., she urgently summoned an ambulance, and Danneman provided an account stating, "We retired around 7 a.m. When I awoke at 11, I found his face obscured by vomit, and his breathing was laboured. I immediately called for an ambulance, and he was rushed to the hospital. I also noticed that 10 of my prescribed sleeping tablets were missing. Reportedly, his girlfriend alleged that Hendrix had consumed 9 of her prescribed sleeping pills, an astonishing 18 times the recommended dosage. Was Jimi Hendrix the victim of foul play? Owing to the affliction with the 1970s hippie countercultural movement and the untimely demises of several influential figures within the movement, particularly those of color, Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and allies like the Kennedy brothers, among others. Some have suggested, with a hint of conspiracy, that Hendrix might have met a sinister end. There exist claims suggesting that Hendrix's demise was not due to political motivations, but rather financial ones. According to James Tappy Wright, a former roadie of Hendrix, his book alleges that Hendrix met his demise at the hands of the manager Michael Jeffrey. In the last months of Hendrix's life, he grappled with exhaustion, disillusionment with the music industry, and notably dissatisfaction with his manager, contemplating a change. As per Wright, Jeffrey was anxious about being replaced as manager and perpetually hatched a plan to cash in on a $2 million life insurance policy for which he would be the beneficiary. Wright goes as far as to claim that Jeffrey seemingly confessed to him, stating, "I had to do it, Tappy," as he recounted in his tell-all book, Rock Roadie, as reported by The Guardian. "You understand, don't you? I had to do it. You know damn well what I'm talking about," the account adds. "We went to his hotel room, collected a handful of pills, and forced them into his mouth, then poured several bottles of red wine down his windpipe." The former roadie turned writer detailed the confession, saying, "I can still recall the conversation. Envision the man I'd known for a significant part of my life, his complexion pallid, hand gripping his glass in a sudden fit of rage." Was there an inquiry into the demise of Jimi Hendrix? Despite Hendrix's fluctuating relationship with the music industry and his escalating drug consumption towards the end of his life, there have been claims, albeit inconclusive, suggesting that Hendrix might have been victim of foul play. However, no formal investigation was ever initiated. Chas Chandler, the individual who initially discovered Hendrix and served as his producer, firmly expressed his disbelief in Hendrix taking his own life, stating, "I don't believe for a moment that he killed himself. That was simply not an option." John Bannister, the on-call registrar at the time, disclosed, "We made efforts to revive him for approximately 30 minutes, as reported by the Sydney Morning Herald, but there was no sign of life. His throat was filled with wine. Wine was present everywhere." A puzzling inconsistency emerged in his narrative, casting a shadow of doubt. According to Bannister, as cited in the Times, not only was it saturating his hair and clothing, but his lungs and stomach were completely inundated with wine. "We repeatedly removed it, and it kept flowing and flowing. He had effectively drowned in a substantial quantity of red wine." The autopsy reports indicated minimal alcohol in his bloodstream, in a strange twist of events. The official cause of death was recorded as asphyxiation due to inhalation of vomit caused by barbiturate intoxication. This, coupled with Hendrix's manager, Michael Jeffrey's alleged connections to organized crime, prompted conspiracy theories suggesting that Jeffrey might have employed mobsters to carry out foul play, claims that had never been substantiated. Furthermore, his girlfriend's account displays certain inconsistencies, including variations in the timeline of when she discovered Hendrix unresponsive, as well as her reported errand to purchase cigarettes before calling for an ambulance. Regrettably, the demise of an arguably one of the most pioneering guitarists in history shall persist as an enduring enigma. Please comment what you think happened to Jimi Hendrix.